do want to provide an update for you just into our newsroom. The death toll from these fires now, that's up to 16, according to the medical examiner's office.
Yeah, we want to bring in Mark Liu. Mark, we're just getting this into our newsroom, and sadly, this is something we have been anticipating. We know the city of Pasadena was using cadaver dogs to go through homes today, homes where people had already even said that they had left and are safe. They are doing that just to make sure they go through every single property. But Mark, I know we're learning a little bit about some of these deaths.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Department of Medical Examiner, the LA County Medical Examiner, has just released the most comprehensive report that we have seen so far. And actually, if you can bring it up on my screen, there's a lot of data here that I want to go through. This just came out about a half an hour ago, and we've been looking at it. This is from the County of Los Angeles Medical Examiner, the number of deaths and the lists of where they were found and information about those deaths. Now you can see here, they're listed here, which fire they've, it's either the Palisades or the Eaton fire. Let me see if I can actually get this to be a little bit bigger so that you can read it a little bit better. There, I've zoomed in. So you can see here, there's many cases. There's 16 all the way down. And I'm gonna zoom in and show first one here, the Palisades. From the Palisades fire, this person died, they say, in the hospital. The status pending legal next of kin notification. Decedent is a man in his 80s. And then on the 3400 block of Monte Rosa Drive in Altadena, the Eaton fire, they have identified the body that was found there. I'll show you this one. It is a man named Victor Shaw. They said the cause, smoke inhalation and thermal injuries. Of the 16 so far on this list, he is the only one that has been identified. There is also a column here, right here, whether or not these are confirmed human remains. And as I go down this list, you can see the Eaton and Palisades fire on Alta Pine Drive. It is an unidentified body, but confirmed to be human remains. Also in the 20,900 block of Pacific Coast Highway, unidentified, but confirmed to be human remains. There were some remains found here in the Eaton fire on West Terrace Street, 100 block. It says at the Department of Medical Examiner, they have not yet confirmed if that is human remains. And then these two here in the Palisades on Roca Chica Drive and Friend Street in Pacific Palisades, both confirmed to be human remains, but unidentified. And then these three in the Eaton fire on Tonya Avenue, two of them on the same block on Tonya Avenue and one on East Los Forest Drive, all confirmed to be human remains as well. And then a final one here in Palisades on the 22,100 block of Swenson Drive in Topanga, an unidentified body confirmed to be human remains. Now the finals down here, all from the Eaton fire on East Sacramento Street, West Terrence Street, Krenz Avenue, Wapello Street, and Pine Street. These remains are all at the Department of the Medical Examiner or waiting for a Department of Medical Examiner response to come claim them. They have not been confirmed as human remains, but we believe they are suspected as such, as these remains were taken to the Department of Medical Examiner. So 16 deaths confirmed so far in both of these fires, split between Palisades and Eaton. And unfortunately, the tragic fact remains is that there continues to be a search with cadaver dogs through the hundreds, even thousands of homes and structures that have been destroyed, and we may see more of those human remains brought to the county medical examiner's office in the coming days.
It's just heartbreaking.
It is absolutely heartbreaking, Mark, because out of these 16 people, and the ones that we do know have been confirmed human remains, only one died in the hospital. The rest, we don't know their stories, and we hope to one day learn all of their stories and all of their names. But you know, the rest died in their communities when these fires quickly swept through possibly their homes. We don't know if they were leaving, but or if they were there, or if it was just they were overcome by the fire rushing through there. It is just absolutely heartbreaking to see that the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it really is. You've made a very important observation that these bodies were all discovered at these locations in these neighborhoods. So the remains very likely may be damaged very severely due to the intensity of the fire, which means they may need medical records like dental records or DNA in order to identify them, which is going to prolong that process. That is going to take it longer to get closure for their families to finally come to the realization that their loved one did pass away in this fire. And it's also an unfortunate a case of people who did not evacuate. Either they chose not to evacuate or they were unable to evacuate because of the speed of the fire. And so the medical examiner is going to continue to work through these coming days and weeks to identify those remains, very likely through dental records if they're available, or DNA if the family is able to provide that information as well.
Yeah, a lot of work still to do, and just unbelievably tragic on top of that. Worth letting you know one more time, 16 deaths in these SoCal fires. We're learning this evening, 11 from the Eaton fire, 5 from the Palisades fire so far. Let's get to KCAL News reporter Laurie Perez, now live in Pacific Palisades tonight.
And Laurie, we have to ask, what is the latest there? But I know you yourself, you've been covering the Palisades fire from the very beginning, and to hear those numbers just continue to rise, I know even as someone that's been in those communities, it's just a heart-wrenching number.
It is, and I was trying not to think about that right before the live shot, but it is. I mean, I was going to say before I begin, what I'm going to talk about here is that, you know, we go through these communities every day, and we cover stories with people, good and bad stories, and they become, you know, our community. They are our community, and they become friends, and they become sources, and it's heartbreaking to think of all of the people who have been affected, but especially hearing that death toll rise is very difficult to hear. But I want to tell you that we are here on Sunset Boulevard, not far from the Riviera Country Club. This is an area that is under evacuation orders. And we are here not because there's necessarily any flames around here, but the cell phone signals, the signals are very difficult all throughout Los Angeles County now. And this is the closest area that we could get to get up on TV. We just came down from Mandeville Canyon, where there are active flames as we speak. That's about a mile away. We do have some video to show you on Mandeville Canyon Road. All the way up in Mandeville Canyon Road to the top, there are dozens of firefighters and dozens of fire engines positioned all the way up and down. That is because the fire has been coming down the hillsides. At points, we saw flames a few yards away from the streets, a few yards away from the back of homes, with ground crews actively watching and working to suppress them. And they are getting lots of help from above, which is much of Mandeville Canyon Road is doused in that bright red and pink fire retardant that we're so familiar with. Houses and cars and yards just covered with that stuff. Looking, you know, I thought something like something out of Willy Wonka, but gratefully so, no doubt. That retardant doesn't extinguish the flames, but it certainly does stop them in their tracks, slows them down in their tracks, so that crews do have the opportunity to attack them with water and other things. And we saw air support, in fact, following with water drops. There is a lot that can go up in that canyon along with the homes. It is a beloved area of wooded areas. You know, I mean, they love to live up in that canyon because of all of the brush and trees and nature around. But that, of course, is ripe to burn. And there are, unfortunately, a good number of eucalyptus trees, which we also noticed, which, of course, are highly flammable. We spoke with a homeowner who said that he helped a firefighter to try and put out some of the flames around his neighbor's eucalyptus trees. He told us he has lived in that canyon for more than 60 years and says he's been amazed this time around by the number of crews on the ground and in the air who are helping Mandeville Canyon. He feels as if they are keeping it under control, but certainly knows from 60 years of fire seasons how quickly the conditions can change, how the flames seem to die down at one point, but just as quickly flare up again. And he is under no circumstance letting his guard down as tonight or for the next few days, and nor should he. We saw several instances where areas had big active flames that could quickly come down those hillsides into the yards and then, catch the houses on fire. We are going to be keeping an eye on things in Mandeville Canyon to see if they do progress over the next few hours. For now, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Laurie, thank you so much.